Hello everyone. Nobody ever tells you how hard this postgraduate journey actually is. And one of the joys of accomplishment when you actually get there is knowing that you tackled probably one of the hardest things you've ever done. But some of the things that people never ever tell you and that sometimes come back to bite you are how important it is to be organized. The kinds of pressure you're under, the deadlines that you have to meet can all come back and bite you if you haven't prepared yourself properly. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about managing this postgraduate and research writing journey, managing your time, managing your resources. Time is your most precious resource in this entire journey. So the very first thing that you need to do is in fact make friends with your calendar. Choose the calendar that you use most frequently, and working from the back all the way to at the end where your final due date is, you're going to create appointments with yourself. You can color code the different deadlines and stages. You need to create all-day events for your deadlines. Otherwise, they pop up, as you can see on this sample over here, as a simple time, and you can't necessarily color code it. You have to be realistic. Become aware of how long it's taking you to read things, how long it's taking you to write things, when and how you're going to generate your data. Always add around 20% contingency. In other words, if you think it's going to take 2 weeks to finalize and review your final section of your thesis or an actual publication, then add around 2 or 3 days just to be safe. And then, of course, stick to your schedule. So the idea with populating your calendar is that you start at the end. What is the final submission date? How long is it going to take you to revise and edit the final document that you're producing? Go through each single submission stage. For example, if you're writing 3 or 4 papers, break up your time that's realistic and allocate a specific day on your calendar with a specific color that says submit paper 1, submit paper 2, submit final thesis. Allocate reading and writing time, allocate development and testing, depending on what your project is. Allocate time for the literature review, allocate time for data gathering and any other relevant time. Just as another suggestion, put in your personal items as well. Set aside time that you don't want to be disturbed. Set aside time that you need to see family or spend some quality time with others. Add all of those things into your calendar as you populate it. Now let's look at managing your resources. Setting up templates. This is probably the most important step that you can take to prevent yourself from struggling later on. Create a new offline Word document. Okay, there is nothing worse than trying to format different document sections which have different styles after the fact. Look at your institutional guidelines. If you're developing papers, then download the templates that you are most likely to use and turn them into your own. Give yourself time to set up the key document that you'll be working from that has all the styles that you've already formatted. Look at your headings, look at paragraph settings and all the numbering rules. Now you will save that template that you create as your thesis or research template document. And every time you start a new paper or a new chapter or a new article that is connected to the rest, you use that same template. Now, in that template, what you're going to do is set up the entire final product. Even if you are doing your postgraduate research by publication, you need a master project overview document. Now, while you're setting up your template, then this is the master project document that you're going to create with all of those sections in it. Now, when you have that master document, you're going to save it as your progress document as well, your project progress. And that's the document that you're going to use, one that is online. It can either be in Google or in Microsoft Office. And this is going to be the ongoing summary document that you will share with your supervisor. That document is for bullet pointed notes as you progress through your research. Here's just an example of my own that I had. In this case, it was called my thesis map, but it was in fact my project progress document. Now, the purpose of having two documents, on the one hand, you've got your project progress map or project progress document. That is so that you can always see the bigger picture. This consists of bullet points, summary notes, as you develop your chapter drafts or your different papers. This helps you and your supervisor keep track of the big picture. But the first template that you created, which is in fact your offline template, that has all your master sections in, that's your main writing platform. These are your Word drafts written on the formatted template. These are the offline sections, drafts, or papers that you will send to your supervisor or a critical friend for critical review. Here again, we have an image of these two. Note the bullet points for the project progress summary, and then the chapter or paper drafts. Now, a good idea with that online project progress map is to create a table on the front page with all the stages and the elements of either your thesis or the different papers that you're writing listed in tabular form, where you can regularly follow up on what has been done, what needs to be done, how many words something is, when you've sent it, what feedback you've received. Because again, your supervisor probably has more than one student. And this online document and this front page of your project progress document is vital just to keep track of the bigger picture. So when you speak to your supervisor, let's say in email format, you can use a screenshot of that front page or a copy of that table just to say, you are here now, read this, skim that, consider something else. Now, when it comes to managing your documents, I want to point out that there are many different referencing systems to use, but they do not necessarily always enable you to have a bird's eye view of everything that you're gathering. Google Scholar is your best friend. So you can use it to locate just about every article or text ever written on any aspect of your research. Okay? Google Scholar is fantastic because once you've started adding in your permutations that we spoke about in terms of your literature review, you can set alerts for yourself so that you're not busy writing a paper while somebody else has just published something and you haven't taken that paper into account. Take a moment now, pause, go to Google Scholar, add in 2 or 3 of your key search terms and just see what crops up. Experiment with setting alerts for yourself, and you will see that you can feed those directly to your inbox and set aside time every week or every month to make sure you're up to date on what the latest articles are that have been published in your particular research area. Now, in this case, I'm showing you an example of my own document management system. I download all the texts that are relevant to a particular category and I code that category at the beginning. Now, again, to point out that a reference manager will not necessarily help you see the bigger picture of all the readings in a specific space, although you might select all your tagged copies of something. But the point about having these copies that you've downloaded is that you can annotate them, you can copy all of the relevant information again into a bird's eye view spreadsheet system, which helps you to keep track of what you've read, what is significant in what you've read, and how these elements all tie together. When you're actually writing and you have a spreadsheet system like this, you can use your filters to select all the papers on a particular key aspect of your problem as a whole and check whether or not you're citing or referencing or drawing on all the resources that you've actually looked at. This again, this literature review system in a spreadsheet format gives you a bird's eye view of the entire process. So, you need to pause this video, set aside time, set up your Word templates, create your master research document, then create your online progress document. Set aside time to start your ABC literature review, organize that literature review, and add any other relevant information that you might need on this very exciting journey.